Good morning, happy Monday. I'm here with two books this week about bunnies in honor of our upcoming Easter holiday and spring break. So thank you so much for joining me, and let's get started. Okay, so our first bunny book is Creepy Carrots. Words are by Aaron Reynolds and the illustrations are by Peter Brown. It's a 2003 Caldecott honor. And I've always seen this book in the library, and it always looks a lot of fun. So I thought that I would pick it up in for Easter. Creepy Carrots. Jasper Rabbit had a passion for carrots, and the carrots that grew in Crankenhopper Field were the best. Fat, crisp, and free for the taking. He pulled some for the morning snack on the way to school. He yanked out a few on his way to Little League practice. He ripped them from the ground on his way home at night. Jasper couldn't get enough carrots until they started following him. He first noticed something strange after the big game against the East Valley Hares. Jasper was about to help himself to a victory snack when he heard it, the soft, sinister tunk, tunk, tunk of carrots creeping. He turned, but there was nothing there. Just my imagination, he thought, but he hopped a little faster. That night, as he was brushing his teeth, there they were. Jasper whipped around, but nothing. He laughed to himself, picked his toothbrush off the floor, and went to bed quickly. The next morning, he approached Crankenhopper Field slowly. He reached for 2 wild carrots. Nothing happened. He bit into one. Nothing happened. Phew, creepy carrots. It was ridiculous. But when he arrived home that evening, "Mom! Mom!" Jasper screamed, "Creepy carrots in the shed!" His mom opened the door slowly. There weren't any carrots, not even the regular kind. "There are no such things as creepy carrots," Mom said, shaking her head. Later that night, as Jasper lay in bed, he heard it, breathing. Terrible, carroty breathing. And there, on his wall, "Creepy carrots!" he shouted, "Dad, Dad!" His dad thumped into his bedroom and threw on the light. They searched under the bed, no creepy carrots. They looked through the closet, no creepy carrots. They opened the dresser drawer, no creepy carrots. "Just a bad dream, son," his dad said, shaking his head. "Now go to sleep." That wasn't going to happen. By the end of the week, Jasper was seeing creepy carrots creeping everywhere. Jasper knew his parents were wrong. Creepy carrots were real, and they were coming for him. But they couldn't get him if they couldn't get out. Jasper hatched a plan. First thing on Saturday, he grabbed supplies and headed to Crankenhopper Field. As the sun finally set across Crankenhopper Field, Jasper smiled. On his way home, there was no tunk, tunk, tunk. There was no carrot-shaped shadows. His plan had worked. No creepy carrots would ever get out of that carrot patch again. And as the sun finally set, The carrots of Crankenhopper Field cheered. Their creepy plan had worked. They were sure of it. Jasper Rabbit would never get into that carrot patch ever again. That was Creepy Carrots. So that's a book you can pick up in the library once we're back at school. So that was our first rabbit book. Our second rabbit book is Henry and the Buccaneer Bunnies by Carolyn Creamy, illustrated by John Manders. This is another book that caught my eye because it's about bunnies and it's right around Easter. So let's find out about these Buccaneer bunnies and what they're up to when they're not busy with Easter. Henry and the Buccaneer Bunnies. Cruising the seven seas on a crickety old ship called the Salty Carrot sailed a wild, rowdy band of buccaneer bunnies. They were bad, bad bunnies, all right. When pirates on other ships saw their long, floppy ears and their fluffy white tails, they shook with fear. The captain of the Salty Carrot was Barnacle Blackear, the baddest bunny brute of all time. Blackear was proud of his wooden paw, his golden earrings, and his mean reputation. What Blackear was not proud of was his son, Henry. Instead of performing his proper pirating duties, Henry was more interested in reading the books the buccaneers stole from other ships. Shout, shiver me timbers, Blackear ordered. I'd rather finish this chapter, said Henry. Make this prisoner walk the plank. Can't I just read about it? Asked Henry. Find yourself a parrot for your shoulder. First, I need to read up on parrot care, said Henry. Buccaneer bunnies don't need books, said Blackear. Toss them overboard, he yelled to the other bunnies. No, wait, cried Henry. Let me just finish them first. Avast, cried Blackear. Swab the decks until you come to your senses. And so Henry swabbed the decks day after day while reading some of his favorite books, like Robinson Crusoe and 30 Days to Longer Years. Bet you can't learn how to do this from a book, Jean LaHare said while sharpening his hook. Henry sighed and turned the page. You'll never find booty like this in a book, Calico Jack Rabbit told him, holding up his stolen loot. Henry shrugged and turned the page. Can't do this with a book in your paw, Bartholomew Bunny said while sanding his peg leg. Henry just turned another page. As much as he loved his books, Henry was a lonely buccaneer bunny if there ever was one. Then one morning he looked up at the red sky and wriggled his little pink nose. He heard the parrot squawk and saw fish jumping out of the water. If my books on meteorology are correct, those signs mean a big storm is heading this way, he thought. Henry tried telling Jean LaHare about the upcoming storm. Excuse me, but I believe a storm is coming, Henry said. But Jean was too busy polishing his pieces of 8. Go back to your books, Henry. He tried telling Calico Jack Rabbit. I'm pretty sure a storm is on its way, Henry said. But Calico Jack was too busy admiring his tattoo of a cabbage. Don't bother me now, Henry. Finally, Henry cried, batten down the hatches, a huge storm is coming. What do you know about storms? Blackear demanded. Get back to swabbing the deck before I make shark bait out of those books of yours. Henry did as he was told, but he kept his little pink eyes on the skies. When he saw the rats abandoning ship, he started packing up his books in empty treasure chests. The storm started small, A few low grumbles of thunder, a spike of lightning, then suddenly a crashing, bashing, thrashing wildcat of hurricane broke loose. It shook the ship. Sufferin' sea dogs! It mangled the masts. Great blimey blighches! It slashed the sails, damaged the deck, and ripped up the rickety old salty carrot. All that was left, floating on the choppy waters, were a bunch of soggy bunnies and Henry's treasure chest, filled with books. When the storm finally calmed down, Black Ear, Henry, and the rest of the buccaneers paddled to the nearest island. "We're ruined!" wailed Black Ear. "No ship, no pieces of eight, no gems!" He sat in the sand and blubbered a lily-livered landlubber, like a lily-livered landlubber. But Henry got to work. The first thing he did was build a 2-story hut out of palm fronds and coconuts. "How'd you learn to do that?" asked Blackbeard. "I read it in 101 Ways to Do with Palm Fronds and Coconuts," replied Henry. Next, he built a fire and covered up a tasty seaweed stew. "Blimey," said the hungry bunnies. "Where'd you learn to do that?" "I found the recipe in Quick and Easy Meals for Marooned Pirates," said Henry. Then he made them all, fetching garments from bits and pieces he had salvaged from the shipwreck. "We look like gentle bunnies, we do. What swag swashbucklers we are." "Arr, and it's all from them land-loving books," said Black Ear, shaking his head. Henry taught Black Ear and the Buccaneer bunnies all kinds of useful things, like how to plant carrots, make the best sandcastles, and build boats out of palm fronds. Soon they built a new ship. And they sailed to the library at nearby Easter Islands every summer. Here the bunnies spent many happy hours slurping seaweed stew and reading books. "Aye, Buccaneer bunnies will always need books," said Black Ear. Henry just smiled and turned the page. So that's another one from our library. I hope you guys have a great Monday. And thank you so much for joining our read along, and I will see you all tomorrow.